formidable empire in Canaan. But that after the powerful republic of the 12 tribes was destroyed by the Assyrians and Babylonians, they wonderfully increased in numbers and strength, extended their dominion towards the west, spread their colonies far and wide, subjugated Italy. So, after we were brought down, the kingdom of Israel was brought down by the Assyrians. And right after the Assyrians, the Babylonians took the Assyrians down and basically sacked Judah. The kingdom of Judah was sacked by the Babylonians. When that happened, because the scriptures say, what's that? Race it. Is that Psalms 137? Yep, Psalm 137. You want to get that? So the Edomites stood on the sideline while the Babylonians were taking us down, and they were basically saying, tear it down, even to the foundation thereof. So when that time period came, that's when the Edomites, it says in here, extended their dominion towards the west. So when you in the land of Israel, right, which that's basically the eastern bank of the Mediterranean Sea. When you go westward, what's right there in the sea right there when you go west of the land of Israel? Because Edom is south of Judah, so the land of Edom is actually closer to Egypt, so to speak. Because from there, you can walk into Egypt and walk out of Egypt into the land of Edom, and then you come to the land of Judah. You can walk there. So when you go west, you can, what? The Edomites were what? They were already there in Egypt under the Pharaoh, because they went there and got asylum because Joab was trying to get rid of all the males of Edom. So they went there and they had asylum there until Solomon and Joab died. Then they came back into their lands. And then the Assyrians took the northern tribe, the kingdom, down, and then the Babylonians took Judah down. So then he's saying in here, historically, the Edomites spread westward, which would mean that right there in the Mediterranean, right there on that, the first island that's right there is the land of Cyprus. It's called Cyprus today. That's the land that Alexander the Greek came out of, because it tells you Alexander came out the land of Chittim in the Apocrypha. Well, that land in ancient times was known as the land of Chittim, but it became known as Cyprus later on. That's the land. That's one of the areas that they went into when they went west, because when you go west, you're going back from the Middle East. You're going west towards what? Africa, Portugal, Spain, and the Greek islands, Asia Minor, the Greek islands, right? And going towards Italy. And as a matter of fact, since the Edomites was already there in Egypt, what's to say that they went westward? If you go west across Egypt and you come to the most northern part of Africa that became later on in history known as Carthage, right across from there is Sicily. It's a little small boat ride to go from Carthage right to Sicily. And then the boot, that's Italy, is right there. And then from Sicily, you go right into Italy. Mm-hmm. So, and I believe Togomar was up there in those regions too. The regions that we know as Italy, Sicily, and them regions, because that's Japhet's land. I believe the sons of Togomar was up in there. And the Edomites went up in there and did what? They went over there and they took over Togomar's land. Yeah,
like even one guy who bring out the Khazars, he said they raped and pillaged wherever they went. That's Esau. To this day, you look over there, wherever any U.S. or embassy or garrison that they have in any of these countries, you got a lot of crimes that go on with the locals of rape, robbery, and murder.
Yep. Yep. Straight up rape, robbery, and murder. So, after the fall under the Assyrians and the Babylonians, the Edomites went westward. And then went where? Went there into Italy. Who was there? Now, the Etruscans were there. The Etruscans were the ones that started Rome. The story of Romulus and Remus. Now, you devils are actually trying to claim that story and say that Romulus and Remus were you fucking white people. Because you devils went up into that region and you took over. And you didn't just go in there and take over in one day. It took time for you to get up there and gain control.
Scheme, plot.
You scheme, plot.
Yep.
It took time for you to gain control. You didn't just go in there and take control. Because once the Edomites got control and you became the Roman Empire, which the name Rome goes back to Romulus. Romulus and Remus, which were both suckled by a she-wolf, right? There were 2 babies, and the she-wolf, they actually sucked on the she-wolf's breast milk, and the children were kept alive. Then they grew, and the name Rome goes back to Romulus. Remus died when they got older, and then Romulus basically founded Rome. That's where you get the name Rome from Romulus. Even in Star Trek, they had a group of people known as the Romulans, which that goes back to Romulus and Remus. And the Vulcans, which is Spock, was a Vulcan. Them and the Romulus were related. They were like brothers or cousins. The Romulans. So that was even in Star Trek. They had a group of people called the Romulans. You got something, brother?
That was Psalms 137 and 7. It said, remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us.
Right. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us. And you served us what? Rape, robbery, murder, torture.
Even, I'll read the next verse. Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
Right.
They tortured our children.
That's
to this
right.
day.
Still to this day.
Autism, drugs, even the crack baby, heroin babies, they come out with mental deformities. That's why you got niggas that look like the Yin Yang twins and Old Dirty Bastard because of incest and science experiments.
Yep. And what you did to us during slavery, you would make Jake have sex with their own mother.
Yep.
That's where you get the term motherfucker from. Jake liked to use that word. That's a motherfucker. Well, that term comes about because during slavery, you actually would make a Jake have sex with his own mother.
Yep. And they knew they would come out retarded, sometimes strong as not so easy to control.
Yep. Yep. And so you bred that, you bred a bunch of retards within our lineage because of that, because of those acts. You bred a bunch of retards. Now you do it with the needle now.
Yep.
It's called vaccination. You do it with the needle now. 1986, you set a law that there are, I think, 65 different vaccines that a child is supposed to get from 1986 on down. Prior to that, it was only 10. In the 70s, 60s, so forth. Prior to 1986, there was only 10 vaccines. 1986, there was over 60-something vaccines that had to, and then autism went from being like maybe 1 in 100,000 to like 1 in like 100 kids is autistic now. From 1986 up till now. That's why you got so many special needs kids at all these different schools all throughout America. You got to have a whole special needs division in every school. I even remember back in the 80s and even the 90s when I was in high school, you had, you know, how would you say? Hey, you had retards. And it was a classroom, and it was just a group of them in a classroom, and they was all on one bus, and that was it. Now there's bus loads of, I'm going to say, mentally challenged people.
Yeah, retarded. All these fucking kids are retarded.
Yeah.
They call it like it is. They don't respect themselves. They don't respect their parents. Esau has bubble fucked and destroyed the world. He has destroyed, like the scriptures say, that the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because he had not just defiled the earth itself, but the morality, the respect. Everything is turned upside down, as it tell you in Isaiah 29:16. But the Lord said, all that shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. That's
right, because it's going to be turned right side up.
Yep.
The Lord is going to turn it right side up. So now it says here, the Edomites, basically, they extended their dominion towards the west, spread their colonies far and wide, subjugated Italy. This is around the time after the fall of, after the Babylonians basically took us down. The Edomites flexed their muscle and they went out westward. Because when the Assyrians came in, it started around 740 AD, somewhere around that time, 740. And then by around, say, maybe 740 BC, sorry. Somewhere around 605, the Babylonians took them down, and the Babylonians were the big guys, the big fish on deck. The Babylonians were the big fish. So then during that time, go ahead.
No.
Yep. So I'm just gonna read this little part in the passage here, and then we're gonna end it with a couple scriptures. So, because I wasn't trying to make this too long, but we'll probably revisit it another day. Now it says, I'm gonna read through here. At length, entirely overturned the Jewish state. See, because the Roman Empire, the first Roman-Jewish war, they burnt Jerusalem down. They burnt down the temple. They put the Israelites in slavery, and we had to flee, and we had to flee in all directions at that time. It says, which had been restored after the termination of the Babylonian captivity, the second temple being destroyed by Titus and Vespasian, and that in the present day, professing the religion of Jesus of Nazareth. So now you devils want to talk about you love Jesus, when you were murdering and butchering and killing the people that Jesus came from, the Israelites. It says, which they were the first of all nations to embrace. They hold the dominion over all Europe. Right now, you Edomites, you have the dominion over all Europe right now in this day and time. Because the scriptures say when Isaac blessed Esau, he said, do you have one blessing left, my father? He said, by the sword. And you're going to have the fatness of the land and the dew of everything, but you're going to get it by the sword. Esau was blessed with the sword.
Which is a catch-22, because the Lord said, he that liveth by the sword shall die by the sword.
Now it says here, if we could get Revelations 13, 9, and 10, and if we can get that Ezra, we'll end it there with a Revelation in Ezra's, what is it, the 6th chapter. Now it goes on to say here, Esau detaining in captivity his brother Jacob, at least as far as regards the tribe of Judah, till his Messiah, Ben David, shall appear. Which is who? Yahushua. Mm-hmm. So these devils are saying here in this book that the Edomites are going to have detained and in captivity, which is what? Slavery. His brother Jacob, at least as far as regards the tribe of Judah, till Messiah, Ben David, shall appear. Until the Messiah, right, the son of David, appear. Until he appears, we're going to be in captivity under Esau.
Well, they know that. That's why they got the Star Wars program. Yep. That's why Ronald Reagan said, what if we have a common enemy that's coming from outer space, so to speak. Yep. And that we all come together. That's well known, because they all know about the great deliverance out of Egypt, where the Lord fought for us. And when you read Exodus, the 14th chapter, there's chariots that were shooting down or shooting the wheels off of the chariots of Pharaoh. Yep. So they know that the Lord's coming. That's why they got Operation Warp Speed, because now each year, as we've been speaking, as we're speaking right now, each year there's been greater and greater, more so-called UFO sightings. They know that's what the Lord travels in. Yep. The chariots of Israel. Yep. And Revelations 1 and 7. Yep. It says, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him. They also too which pierced him. Them two Roman soldiers that pierced the Lord, the Lord got a vendetta. He's looking for them when he come. That's right. He said he shall no longer hold his peace, but spare like a woman in travail. When you read Isaiah 42, we got a precept. It says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. Right. So the Bible says, Revelations 13, 9, and 10, he that leadeth in the captivity, which is what? Slavery, shall go into slavery. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. They're telling you here that Esau is detaining in captivity his brother Jacob, at least the tribe of Judah, until the Messiah, Ben David, shall appear. Until the Messiah, who's the son of David. Who's the son of David? Yahushua. That's right. The one that the world calls Jesus Christ. He is what? He is the son of David. They called him the son of David. Right. In the book of John, they called him the son of David. Why? Because his father Joseph was of the house of David. He was also known as the son of David, the Messiah, Bun David, the son of David. It was a true omen, because he was actually the son of David. He was Solomon in the reincarnate. I got 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. It said, then answered I and said, what shall be the part and asunder of times, or when shall be the end of the first and the beginning of it that followeth? Right. Talking about the end of the world. Right. Go ahead now. You break it down, brother. It's talking about it. Look, all the prophets, even the disciples asked the Lord, Matthew the 24th chapter, when shall the end be? And the Lord gave all the signs. It shall be kingdom against kingdom, nation against nation. That's talking about race wars, famine, pestilence, earthquakes in diverse places, things that are happening as we speak. He said unto me from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, of him Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau, for Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. The hand of man that is betwixt the heel and the hand. Other question, Ezra, asked thou not. But that's the end of this world.
Right.
He's the prince of this world. That's why Yahushua said in the book of John, the 14th chapter, he said, the prince of this world cometh, which has nothing to do with me. Because he's the rich man and we're Lazarus when you read that parable.
Right.
And what did the Lord say? There's a great gulf between us. Because he's 100% negative. We're positive. Like the Lord said, he had made man upright, but they sought out many inventions. And he said we took on the ways of our neighbors, drunk the philosophies of other nations. That's why we went into slavery. But starting with the elect, the AK, the remnant, are coming back to Yahweh through Yahushua, our Lord and Savior. And that's how the third temple is being reborn in Yahushua's name.
That's right.
He is the third temple, because where it says there's neither Jew nor Greek, male nor female, because the whole nation of Israel represents Yahushua, which is the third temple being built.
That's right.
That's why he told him, in 3 days I shall raise this temple. When he was resurrected, that was the beginning of Israel being resurrected, the temple.
Yep. And he said, in 3 days I will rebuild this temple. Now we are in basically the third millennium from the time that the Lord came on the scene. From the time of his birth, we're in the third millennium, the third day. The scriptures say that in the third day, he's going to live in our sight.
That's right.
So we're in the third millennium. So we're in the time of the Lord making his return back here to the earth. What? To free his people from who? Under the hands of the Edomites.
And that's why you read Numbers, the 24th chapter with Balaam and Balak. He gave the prophecy of the star that came out of Jacob, which is Yahushua. And he said, what are you going to do to all the other nations? And Amalek, he was the first. He was the last. But Amalek was the first.
Right.
Meaning he was the first that attacked us as a nation when we came out of Egypt. It was the Amalekites, the grandson of Esau, which is the so-called Jew today. Say he's going to be the first when the Lord come back. The Lord say he has indignation and a beef with Amalek from generation to generation.
That's right. That's right. So pretty much we hope you brothers got something out of this. And we'll probably revisit it again. Another day we'll revisit it again and go over it again, rehash it again. So with that, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash, and want to say shalom to the elect, and see you next time.